All right, welcome in, Geminis, to your, I can keep my chair going here, to your May monthly tarot reading. So how was your April, Easter, all that good stuff? First month of spring fully, and now we're in May. So we are in Taurus season throughout most of May, and then we move into Gemini the end of May. So for those of you Geminis that have May birthdays, happy birthday this month. But we're mostly going to be focusing on the Taurus energy as the sun is in Taurus most of the month. So the monthly themes for May. So this is going to be very Taurus energy, the bull, which represents Taurus. So we have stability, self-worth, and money / luxury. I like to, money, is very specific, but I also think Taurus likes to really enjoy. They like to enjoy the finer things in life. They like luxuries. So for the for the monthly themes, it's really focus on money, but also just luxuries. And for us to really this month allow ourselves, really drop into the surrender of, I deserve luxuries. I deserve to, to treat myself. And not just treat yourself, but are you worth spending some good amount of money that is enjoying some good food, enjoying some good experience, or even some sort of product. Again, luxury can mean so many different things for everyone, but really your self-worth is really different for everyone. It is defined by our environment we grew up in, the belief systems of our family. If you lived more in poverty or in, lower income type of family or environment, usually there's going to be some sort of programming about lack mentality, fear around money, and the inability to really believe that you can have or experience these things that are of luxury. I like to say, to the universe, a penny means the same thing to the universe as $1 million. It's the human mind that we've created value, and we've created different things having different value, like a penny versus, $100 bill. Or even, a shack versus, a $40 million mansion. So we're breaking those belief systems and allowing ourselves this month, as per the bull, to experience, and really it revolves around that self-worth term or theme. And then stability is really grounding into ourselves mostly, right? Because when we're grounded within ourselves, we can ground into wherever we are, our experience, whatever situation is going on, and that is very Taurus energy. So those are the themes of the month. Just to note, as we go into May, we have the Scorpio full moon on the 12th of May, and then we have a new moon in Gemini, May 26th. So that full moon in Scorpio is going to be a big one, very intense. Scorpio is just right on par with that full moon, that depth, that emotion. So we're going to be feeling a lot around that period. So I wanted to call that out. All right, let's move on and start the reading here. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Geminis. And this is a general read, right? So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Take a look at your Moon, Rising, and Venus sign as well. All right. And if you are interested, I have some availability for personal readings, so you can go to my website via the description below in the video, and you can schedule something there. So let's see here. So May, what's going on in May? Contract. Okay, interesting. That could be an actual, you know, real external contract going on, business, buying something, legal. This could also be a karmic contract. So let's see, Angel of Balance. And Magician and the Mirror. And I actually want to read the Magician and the Mirror to you guys, but if I can actually find, of course, I don't have the book. All right, we're just gonna go off of, I want to read a little. Okay, never mind. So I definitely, so right off the bat, we'll see what the tarot cards bring up, but I am bringing more of like a karmic contract here. So this could be, you know, with a certain person. This could be a situation in your life. This could be like a reoccurring karmic pattern that has caused you some challenge or suffering in your life. But I do feel like the timing right now, the Angel of Balance is coming to help support you and bring, I feel like this karmic contract is kind of closing and wrapping up. And really, part of what this situation or relationship was bringing to you is helping you find balance in your life in some way or another. That could be balance internally within yourself. It could be you finding balance right with home and work or something like that. But I feel like that there definitely is divine support right now that's going to help you with the situation and help you in your life, because there is some sort of balance that needs to be brought to you. If it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's in wrapping up this situation that's going to bring you more balance. Because I do feel like there's something about looking in the mirror here, that you really need to look in the mirror. I do feel like it's a very heightened, supportive, energetic time for you to manifest a lot of amazing things for yourself. But I do feel like there's still something where you need to look within yourself, like looking in the mirror to kind of see, where has there been patterns in my life that have been preventing me from being successful in a certain area of my life? Where is it that I need to really work within myself and make some changes to move forward in a new way, to prevent, you know, the patterns from coming back again, or just, again, manifesting in some new, better things here. So this is for May, right? Let's see here. And this is the Tarot in Wonderland deck. Six of Swords. Definitely moving into a new, better kind of, moving in a better direction right now. You're moving in a positive direction here. There's less kind of tumultuous water. So if you feel like you've been through some challenging times, trying to navigate through a situation that has been challenging, you are, you know, moving out of that. Three of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Six of Cups, and the Page of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles, and then I'm going to grab this, the Knight of Wands and Strength card. So kind of, like I said, you're moving in a new direction. You're moving out of a difficult, kind of challenging, you know, and I feel like this is that karmic contract here, which you're kind of, again, moving out of, wrapping up. I do feel like how you transition is going to require you to kind of work in some capacity with, If it's a relationship, you guys are going to have to work together on how this transition works. I do feel like you taking the lead, though, there is some like guidance here about someone taking the lead to kind of show the path, show the way of how to, again, shift and change and be more of that leader, not in a controlling way, or a stubborn way, but in a way that's actually like a leader in regards to that, you're kind of leading the way and shifting and changing and transforming in a new way, so that the way you transition, the way you kind of close out a difficult, and this is too about like, hey, we're in a challenging situation, but how do we like get out of the challenge, resolve the challenge? And I feel like that's where you, Gemini, need to kind of take the lead to kind of, how are we going to bring peace to a situation? How are we going to look at the past and communicate in a new way? There's something about integrating the past, looking at the past. There may need to be an apology or some sort of truce about taking accountability as well on both sides about a situation. And that could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be a pattern that you've seen in your life. It could be in regards to a work situation. But I feel like there is some sort of like you needing to take a look in the mirror to also, hey, where is my accountability in this? And because again, right, you are the attractor of your life. So if you've been in some difficult situations or patterns, there's a higher reason for your soul, but there's some lessons that if the pattern continues, that you haven't really fully integrated. And usually it means there's parts of you, there's mostly like child parts or parts that were younger that are stuck in a situation, stuck in a belief system about life that has just continued the pattern. So what do you need to do? Because this is really childlike energy too with the 2 pages. Like, what support does your child self need, or these parts need now from you that they never got to help you shift your now adult life? Because I feel like this has been a slow go. Something's been really slow. Again, this could be a pattern that's been going a long time. It could be you dragging your feet on trying to actually shift and change and repair a situation. But I do feel like you got the Emperor and the King of Wands. These are the 2 biggest, I would say, like take charge, take the lead. You have the power and the knowledge and the creativity to like figure out how to move forward in a new way, and to create a new path. And then it's fueled by the Strength card. So there's a lot of courage maybe and confidence you need to kind of take the lead and feel like you can actually, pave a new path forward for yourself, but also for a situation. Because it's really about, what I'm hearing is the path forward is you get to pave it. Okay. So whatever it is, whatever you want to create or change, or if you don't want to create a pattern again, it's going to be up to you to take that lead and go forward in a new way. So 2 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands. So I definitely feel like you've been in a situation or in a period of uncertainty in something, in an aspect of your life. Like you're not sure how this is going to pan out. It's been challenging, difficult, definitely feeling like either you may have given up on a situation or have been waffling around, do I just give up on this? Hanged Man. Yeah, definitely this is a lot of stuck energy here. So you've been very stuck in a situation. I feel like the situation probably hasn't made much shifts, or it's still stuck, right? So that's where what's unfolding here is you needing to make the situation unstuck. So either get yourself unstuck, but I feel like part of the karmic contract is you shifting and taking the lead and helping to change whatever the situation is that you're stuck in. Because I definitely feel a pattern here. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. Yee, this has been very challenging. King of Swords. Yeah, there's been a lot of conflict. There could be a lot of hands in the pot or people that are playing a part of the situation that have added to this, that have made it more challenging. It could be just a lot of, I feel a lot of people, and they want different things. They have different views. They're really almost being stubborn about, like, I'm not going to be the first one to fold here. I'm going to stand my ground. But this sort of kind of dynamic has really created the difficulty, the stuckness. It could be if it's like a relationship. I do feel like people have been really like closed off. There's not warmth or loving energy here. It's very just like, it's almost too in a relationship, like someone really has closed their heart and like, yeah, like the doors are closed, like you're not coming in, and they're not expressing anymore. They're like, it's almost like it's been too long of them having the doors open, and you either, whether it's you or this other person, right? So they could have shut the door on you, you could have shut the door on them, but there's too much. It's like there's not enough reciprocity, and it went on for too long that all of a sudden, well, that's what happens. It's someone finally is like, well, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not continuing to give, or to give my loving energy to not get it back. And then there's this, the King of Swords. So this, the King of Swords is an air sign, which is you, Gemini. So that could be you being more cold, very direct. It's like how you're interacting in the situation is more about, you're communicating, but it's more just like direct, and there's conversation, but it's cold. It's like you're also like really monitoring like this. It's almost like the wall is your boundaries, and your boundaries have been set, and it's like, it seems like the interaction is more just about patrolling your own boundaries, like ensuring people are kind of respecting your boundaries. So that, again, could be you or somebody else. If this is like a relationship, it will, either way, whatever the situation is, I feel like it's definitely hit where it's just, this seems kind of like a situation that's unrepairable because it's gone on too long and there's too much, like the defenses are up, the wall is up. It's like, it's almost past the point of return where you can't take the walls down with this situation. And that's where too, like, I don't see a lot of cups here. You have the 6 of Cups and the Page of Cups, but the Page of Cups to me is not enough cups to really flip this situation. Like that's, the Page is the smallest on the totem pole in as far as, the court cards. You would need some major King and Queen of Cups here, or 10 of Cups, Ace of Cups. The 6 of Cups to me is more around, referring to the past, and maybe you're holding on because of like the nostalgia of something around it, or it being something. I feel like it's something that's hard to transition out of for some reason, because there is something tied to this situation that is positive, but I feel like, out of 10 things, maybe only one thing is positive, or 2. Get one more line. We have the King of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so there's something about, it's almost why this hasn't closed up yet, or you're still dealing with this, is the Wheel of Fortune. Like there's some karmic piece to this. There's something divine going on from a higher soul level, and it's almost like when there's like a point you reach where that signifies, okay, this, you don't have to deal with this anymore. And I feel like in May is kind of the divine timing piece here. So there is a lot of deep feelings about this situation that, you know, is causing confusion about, like, looking back at, like, how did this, you know, go down the way it did? How did we get here? And I do feel like there's a lot of deep feelings that aren't being expressed. I don't feel a lot of really deep expression here, because when you're really expressing from the depth, that's more of a cup energy again. It's like the communication here is all in the head, right? Swords, which isn't really, you're just, the swords are just kind of scraping the surface. You're not diving deep into the deep emotions or how people are really feeling about the situation. I feel like the only passion here is around the conflict. So, and then the King of Pentacles here, it could be around money, the situation, or someone focusing too much, again, on the external, not enough on the emotional in regards to the situation here. I'm actually going to grab another deck and clarify with that. And it's right in front of me. What's the Six of Cups about? The Sun. Patience. I feel like that Six of Cups is more, it's referring to like a reconciliation. You know, in regards to reconciling this, I do feel like there is some sort of reconciliation, but it may not be how you think it's going to appear. Like if it's a relationship, and I don't want you to feel, because I'm not picking up on like, oh, you're going to fully reconcile this and, you know, repair this and be together. And I'm getting more of, you're going to reconcile it from a soul perspective, but also in the external. And maybe it's just like a coming to Jesus and working together on, maybe this does have to end, but the transition doesn't have to be like ugly, or maybe you can still, you know, be friends or be connected in some aspect. But I feel like there is this like reconciliation so that you both can really be happy. And there's this essence of temperance. I do feel like, again, we have that angel of balance, and the divine energy here is really helping to alchemize the situation and bring balance back to both parties or the situation, so that you both can move, you can move forward in a way that you don't have to like, you know, carry the ghost of this forward, or to have hard feelings, or just, again, it kind of doesn't have to leave like like wounds, right? That are still, you're still licking your wounds after this. And we have Jupiter Moon that decided to just drop in on the top of your reading, Gemini. So that is a good sign, though. So May is going to be a lucky month for you, Gemini. So what's the moon? What's the real feelings here? What's the truth to this? The truth is, deep down, there is love here. There is a lot of love. I feel like if it is, again, going back to the relationship, if this is a relationship, I do feel like the other person, I feel, is, sorry, I gotta fix these. Someone wants to reconcile this and make it work, but I just, you know, one of the parties here, I think, is kind of done. It's just, it's almost like it's too late. And I don't feel like there's been enough done at the right timing to to ensure or to repair this and make it work for you. So let's get one more. Page of Wands. Yeah, I think part of this has to do with so the Page of Wands to me is like, partly I feel like, going back to what I said earlier about the child parts within us, I do feel like that's playing a part in the situation. I do feel like there's still very active, traumatized parts of you that are impacting your ability on how you show up in the situation. That's also creating these patterns. So if you've been stuck in a pattern for a long time, this is why. And this is a pivotal point in your life where the divine is saying these patterns and these karmic contracts here, or this karmic like lesson, it's time to wrap this up and integrate this. So you need to be very hyper aware of, and that's going back to looking in the mirror. Like, you really need to look in the mirror deep. Like, go to the root here. And this is the same for the other party if this goes back to a relationship. But again, this is about you, Gemini, and what you need to do, right? You can't change the other person. All you can do is look at yourself and change yourself here. I also think there's something here about like finding new ideas of how to new ideas, new ways of showing up in the world, of showing up in regards to connections, situations that can help shift and not create the pattern again. Let's talk to this King of Swords. What does this King of Swords have to say? Queen of Swords. Okay. So yeah, it's like both parties here are like, you're coming together in like a meeting of the minds. I see the Queen and King of Swords as, when they come together, it's like a meeting of the minds. They're on the same page, but it's very logistical. It's very, you know, again, surface level. This is not like a huge romantic, deep, loving match here when these two are together. I mean, so I think these people are approaching the situation very professionally, almost like we're taking care of business on the day-to-day. So if this is a relationship, like, there's not really any love going on. There's not deep romance or feelings being relayed or communicated here. So what's with the King of Pentacles? There's definitely conflict around this Page of Cups. So it's almost like, to one party here, the party who's too much focused on the money or too much focus on work and no play, and just, you know, there's a little bit of like ego there, but it's definitely created conflict here because of how this person is. I do feel like they could try to make amends, but there's definitely an imbalance here of like the give and take. So to me, this person gives like a page. They don't give like a king. And that's something that you or the other person just is kind of not accepting anymore. You want more out of a situation. You want more balance. And someone just isn't willing to really address the conflict and take charge and really like take accountability here. So that's what's kind of created where you're at now. And then the two pages down here. What are the Page of Swords and the Page of Cups? Justice. Yep, there's that karmic rebalancing here. Judgment, yeah. You finally reach the fork in the road where it's like, okay, this is a dead end, right? This situation is a dead end, the way it has been going. Like, so it's time for you to like, I think there's a decision point of like, for both of you or both parties, however appears in your life, but it's like going down a new path. And it could be that the parties have to take separate paths and go different ways because what's in their best interest now. But there's definitely, it has to be a whole new path. I mean, and for this, if it's a relationship, this has to completely transform. Like, it has to be a completely different relationship. And each party has to show up completely differently. And I just don't know if it's possible at this point. I'm not really seeing. What's the guidance here? Yeah, seeing things in a new perspective, taking charge, and taking charge in a way. I feel like you got to do what's best for you, like ultimately, but I think you also need to show up in a compassionate way, and that's what's going to move things forward here. So there could be a move coming, there could be a trip, there's some sort of movement in a new direction here for you. Six of Cups again. There's something too about this maturity here in this. If you see this card here, it's like you have the child self with the puppy, and now there's been this like maturity and this growth, and now they're this, you know, older man and older dog. So to me, that's like this situation was to help you grow and mature to where you need to be at this pinpoint to go down the path that you're meant to go down now. And that's part of too the pattern, right? The pattern kept happening until now, is when you matured, you've gained the wisdom, you've learned, and you're going in a new direction here. So there is something about this maturity that has to happen, and you've kind of reached that through all the situations you've been through, but this one is kind of that cherry on top. So it's like seeing things in a new perspective, seeing it for what it really is from a higher perspective, and seeing the new person you've become. And I think you're going to have more strength and wisdom behind you now to start to create something new, instead of the same old pattern that was always disappointing or unsuccessful, or didn't work out. Nice one, Gemini. This is deep. Big month for you, around just, to me, like this evolution of your awareness, of your consciousness. And I think this is the month that kind of wraps these karmic situations up for you. All right, I'm going to leave you with that, Geminis. Don't forget to like the video if you like that. Let me know in the comments how this kind of seems to weave into your current situation. And also share this with others that you feel like it would help. And otherwise, have a great month, and I will see you in the next reading.